The day Earth changed forever started like any other for Captain Susan Miller. She stood on the bridge of the Earth exploration vessel, Curiosity, watching the stars through the main viewport. The ship had been traveling for 3 years beyond the solar system, seeking intelligent life. Susan often wondered if they would find anyone else out there or if humans were alone in the vast darkness of space. "Captain, we're picking up a signal," said Communications Officer Jack Ellis. His voice trembled with excitement. "It's artificial. Someone is out there." Susan felt her heart beat faster. "Can we respond?" "I think so," Jack said, his fingers moving quickly over his console. "The signal pattern is complex but has mathematical elements we can understand." For 3 days, the crew of the Curiosity exchanged simple mathematical sequences with the unknown signal source. Then came images, basic symbols, and finally, something that resembled language. The universal translation algorithms worked day and night to build a communication bridge. On the 4th day, a massive ship appeared near the Curiosity. It was beautiful, with flowing lines that seemed impossible for something so large. It dwarfed their vessel like a whale next to a minnow. "They're hailing us," Jack said, looking pale. "They want to talk face to face." Susan straightened her uniform. "Tell them we accept." The meeting took place in a neutral space between the two ships. Susan led a small team including Lieutenant Alan Cooper, their top xenobiologist, and Dr. Maria Garcia, their chief linguist. They floated in the connection tube, waiting nervously. When the alien representatives appeared, Susan fought to keep her expression neutral. The being in front had 6 limbs, green-blue skin that sparkled under the lights, and large eyes that reminded her of a deer. It moved with grace despite being in zero gravity. "I am Ambassador Zixtal of the Galactic Federation," the alien said through a translation device. "We welcome humans to the greater community of sentient beings." Susan managed to find her voice. "I am Captain Susan Miller of Earth. We are honored to meet you and learn that we are not alone in the universe." The meeting lasted 4 hours. They learned that the Galactic Federation included over 2,000 different intelligent species from across the galaxy. They had been watching Earth for decades, waiting until humans developed sufficient technology for deep space travel before making contact. "Your species is unique," Zixtal said. "We have much to learn from each other." Back on the Curiosity, the crew celebrated. Humans had dreamed of this moment for centuries. They were not alone, and the aliens seemed peaceful and willing to share knowledge. Lieutenant Alan Cooper didn't join the celebration. Instead, he sat in his lab, reviewing the biological data the Federation had shared. Something bothered him about how the ambassador and its assistants had reacted when they saw pictures of Earth during their cultural exchange. "Computer, show me the exact moment when Ambassador Zixtal saw the images of Central Park," Alan said. The screen displayed the ambassador's subtle body language shift when the images of people walking dogs appeared. The translator had missed it, but Alan saw it clearly now, something like fear or disgust. 3 days later, a Federation diplomatic vessel arrived to begin formal relations. Susan welcomed 12 representatives aboard the Curiosity. Everything went smoothly until they toured the crew quarters. When they entered Engineer Paul Wilson's cabin, one of the aliens made a high-pitched sound and backed against the wall. The others followed, their limbs trembling. "What's wrong?" Susan asked, confused. The lead diplomat pointed at a small picture frame on Paul's desk. It showed Paul holding a fluffy orange cat. "What is that creature?" the diplomat asked, voice shaking. "That's my cat, Whiskers," Paul said, looking confused. "She's my pet. Most humans keep animals as companions." The diplomatic meeting ended abruptly after that. The Federation representatives requested to return to their ship for consultation. Susan worried they had somehow offended their new allies. Later, that night, Alan called Susan to his lab. "Captain, I've been analyzing the Federation biological database they shared. I found something interesting." On his screen, he displayed evolutionary trees of various Federation species. "Notice anything strange?" Susan studied the charts. They all seemed to be herbivores or omnivores with very few predatory characteristics. "Exactly," Alan said. No Federation species evolved as an apex predator. Most developed intelligence as prey animals. Their evolutionary path favored cooperation and hiding rather than hunting. He pulled up an image of Earth's evolutionary tree. But look at humans. We evolved with both predator and prey characteristics, and more importantly, we domesticated predators. He showed pictures of dogs, cats, and other pets. I think this is why they reacted strangely to Paul's cat picture. The concept of keeping predators as companions might be terrifying to them. Susan frowned. That seems like an overreaction. Cats are small and domesticated. Alan pulled up a video of a house cat hunting a mouse, showing its efficient killing behavior in slow motion. Not to species that evolved as prey animals. To them, this might look like humans befriending and housing perfect killing machines. The next morning, Susan received a message from the Federation ship. Ambassador Zixtal requested another meeting, but with specific conditions. No images or references to Earth's companion predators were to be present. Unknown to the humans, a secret meeting was taking place on the Federation vessel. 12 representatives sat around a table, watching videos of cats playing with toys, pouncing on string, and cuddling with their human owners. "It's worse than we thought," said Security Director Vreental. "The humans don't just tolerate these predators, they love them. They treat killing machines as objects of affection." Ambassador Zixtal looked troubled. "Perhaps they don't understand what these creatures are." "No," said Federation biologist Meepler. "Look at this data. Humans call these animals murder, Mittens and tiny assassins in their cultural references. They know exactly what these creatures are capable of, and they find it amusing." The room fell silent. "The question before us," Zixtal finally said, "is whether we can allow a species that bonds with predators to join our peaceful federation. What does it say about humans that they find comfort in the presence of killers?" As the Federation, officials debated humanity's fate. Lieutenant Alan Cooper was examining his own data. He pulled up his personal photos and smiled at an image of his 3 cats, Midnight, Patches, and Luna, curled up together on his bed back home. "I think we might have a problem," he muttered to himself, beginning to understand just how different humans might be from their new galactic neighbors. 2 weeks after first contact, Earth was buzzing with excitement. News of alien life spread across the planet, and governments rushed to form a United Earth Council to deal with the Galactic Federation. The Curiosity became the center of diplomatic relations, with Federation representatives coming aboard daily for meetings. Commander Olivia Martinez joined the crew as head of Earth's diplomatic security team. She had 20 years of experience in international relations, but nothing had prepared her for dealing with aliens who seemed nervous around humans for no clear reason. "They're hiding something," she told Susan during their morning briefing. "Every time we try to discuss Earth culture or show them our homes, they change the subject." Susan nodded. "Lieutenant Cooper thinks they're afraid of our pets, especially predator species." "That seems silly," Olivia said. "Most domesticated animals are harmless." "To us, yes. But Alan believes the Federation species mostly evolved from prey animals. Their psychology might be fundamentally different from ours." Later that day, the Earth delegation prepared for an important meeting. The Federation was ready to discuss Earth joining their alliance. Peter Johnson, a junior diplomat, rushed to get ready. It was his first major assignment, and he didn't want to mess up. He grabbed his briefcase containing his tablet and notes, not noticing the small cat-shaped keychain attached to his laser pointer. The meeting began well. Ambassador Zixtal presented the basic requirements for joining the Federation: sharing of non-military technology, acceptance of Federation trade rules, and agreement to their peace treaties. "We also have one specific condition for Earth," Zixtal said, voice becoming formal. "All Federation meetings and spaces must remain free of what you call pets, especially the small predator species known as cats. No images, videos, or references to these creatures will be permitted in Federation space." The Earth delegation looked confused. Peter raised his hand to ask a question. When the ambassador nodded at him, he reached into his briefcase for his tablet. The small cat keychain dangled from his laser pointer as he pulled it out. 3 Federation representatives jumped from their seats, making high-pitched alarm calls. One fell backwards, knocking over a water pitcher. Another pressed against the wall, all 6 limbs trembling. The third, a high-ranking official named Trelvox, collapsed on the floor, breathing rapidly. "What happened?" Peter asked, looking around in confusion. Zixtal pointed at the keychain. "Remove that object immediately." Peter looked down at the tiny plastic cat figure and blinked in surprise. "It's just a keychain, it's not real." "It does not matter," Zixtal said, as 2 Federation medics rushed in to help Trelvox. "The meeting is suspended until your delegation can follow our simple requirements." After the Federation representatives left, Olivia gathered the Earth team. "Okay, this is getting ridiculous. Can someone explain why they're so terrified of cats?" Lieutenant Cooper pulled up data on his tablet. "I've been researching this. The Federation species evolved very differently from humans. On their worlds, predator species either died out early or never developed advanced intelligence. The concept of predators living peacefully alongside other species doesn't exist in their experience. But cats are tiny compared to them," Peter said, still holding his keychain. "Size doesn't matter," Alan explained. "It's what cats represent. Look at this from their perspective." He showed a video of a house cat hunting, moving silently, then pouncing with perfect precision. Now imagine you evolved from something like a rabbit or deer. Your entire evolutionary history programmed you to fear predators with these exact traits. Suddenly you meet humans who not only live with these predators, but love them and think, they're cute. "So we're basically the scary monsters who cuddle with killing machines," Susan said. "Exactly. And it gets worse." Alan swiped to a new screen showing evolutionary data. "Humans have some predatory traits ourselves. Forward-facing, eyes for depth perception, omnivorous diet, endurance hunting in our history. We don't fit neatly into their understanding of how intelligent species should behave." The diplomatic issues grew over the next few days. Federation representatives refused to visit Earth or allow humans to bring personal items to meetings. Earth. Officials became frustrated with the growing list of restrictions. Meanwhile, Dr. Kelly Washington, a human psychologist assigned to improve relations, tried a different approach. She set up informal meetings with a younger Federation researcher named Trivna, who seemed more open-minded than the others. "Can I ask you something directly?" Kelly said during one of their sessions. "Why is your government really so afraid of our cats?" Trivna's large eyes blinked rapidly. "I should not share this, but you deserve to know. Many in the Federation Council believe humans are dangerous. Some think you might be predators pretending to be civilized. Others think these cats have somehow manipulated your species." "That's absurd," Kelly said. "Cats are just animals." "Are they?" Trivna asked. "Your own planet has parasites that can control the behavior of their hosts. Some Federation scientists theorize these cats might be using similar, but more subtle, methods. They see how humans serve them, provide food, clean their waste, and obey their demands for attention." Kelly tried not to laugh. "That's just how pet relationships work. We take care of them because we enjoy their company." "But why would any species enjoy the company of a predator?" Trivna asked. "It goes against all natural instincts for self-preservation." Back on the Federation command ship, a classified meeting was taking place. Security Director Vreental addressed the small group of senior officials. "Our research indicates humans are more problematic than initially thought," she said. "They not only keep predators as companions, but have spread them to all their colonies. Look at these numbers." The screen showed data about Earth's cat population. Over 600 million of these predators living among humans. That's almost one for every 12 humans, and they bring them everywhere they go. Ambassador Zixtal looked troubled. "What are you suggesting?" "Implementation of containment protocol," Vreental said firmly. "We must limit human expansion until we better understand their relationship with these creatures. If necessary, we might need to consider more direct action regarding the predator species themselves." "You mean eliminate their cats?" another official asked, sounding shocked. "If they are influencing human behavior, Removing them might free humans from their control. Vreental explained. We must consider all possibilities for the safety of the Federation. As the Federation plotted, in secret, Lieutenant Cooper sat in his quarters reviewing more data. His 3 cats back on Earth were on his mind. He wondered what they would think of all this if they knew an entire galactic civilization feared them. The thought made him smile. If they only knew how much time you 3 spend sleeping, he said to their picture on his desk. The terrible, fearsome predators of Earth, defeated by a sunbeam and a comfortable cushion. But as he continued reading Federation biological texts, his smile faded. The aliens' fear was real, based on their evolutionary history, and now that fear might threaten Earth's future among the stars. 1 month after first contact, humanity was preparing to send delegates to the Federation Central Council. Despite ongoing tensions about Earth's pets, the Federation had invited 50 human representatives to visit their headquarters on a planet called Harmonious Unity. Dr. Kelly Washington continued her meetings with Trivana, hoping to build trust between their species. They met in a small conference room on the Curiosity where they could speak privately. I found something concerning, Kelly said, sliding her tablet across the table. I was given access to some Federation documents for cultural research, and I found references to something called Containment Protocol. Can you tell me what that is? Trivana's skin changed color slightly, shifting from blue-green to a paler shade. Where did you see this term? In a file about new species integration. It was only mentioned briefly, but it seemed to be specifically about Earth. Trivana looked around nervously before leaning closer. I should not tell you this, but I believe in honest communication between our peoples. Containment Protocol is a security measure for potentially dangerous species. Dangerous? Humans have been nothing but peaceful since contact. It's complicated, Trivana said. Some high-ranking officials believe humans might be a threat because of your predatory associations. The protocol would limit human expansion beyond your solar system and place restrictions on your activities until you prove yourselves trustworthy. Kelly felt a chill. That sounds like putting us on probation just because we have cats. It's more than that, Trivana explained. Your species shows many behaviors that concern the Federation Security Council. You show teeth when expressing happiness. You can eat both plants and meat. You have forward-facing eyes like hunters, and your history is filled with conflict. So does every species' history, Kelly argued. Not like humans, Trivana said. Most Federation species evolved beyond violence as they developed intelligence. Their histories show gradual cooperation. Yours shows war after war, with peace being the exception. Meanwhile, on the Federation command ship, Security Director Vreental was meeting with a small group of officials who believed the cat situation required more direct action. The standard containment protocol is too passive, said military advisor Glonpar, a tall, thin alien with 4 arms and dark purple skin. These cats represent an unknown threat. Our historical records show that when new predator species were introduced to established ecosystems, disaster often followed. What are you suggesting? Vreental asked. A more aggressive approach, Glonpar replied. We should collect samples of these creatures for study, and consider a controlled elimination program. You mean take cats from humans? They would never agree to that. We don't need their permission, Glonpar said. Our mandate allows us to neutralize threats to galactic security. If these creatures are influencing human behavior, removing them might free humans from control. Vreental looked uncomfortable. The Council would never approve this. Which is why they don't need to know all the details, Glonpar said. A small operation to collect specimens from human colonies would give us the data we need. If we find evidence these creatures are controlling humans, the Council will thank us for acting quickly. Back on Earth, preparations for the diplomatic mission continued. The Earth Council selected their representatives carefully, making sure everyone understood the Federation's strange fear of cats and other predator species. Lieutenant Alan Cooper was chosen to join the mission as a scientific advisor. Before leaving Earth, he visited his home to say goodbye to his 3 cats. He watched them play and nap in sunbeams, finding it hard to believe these creatures could cause a galactic incident. His neighbor, Sam Harris, Came over to get instructions for cat sitting. So the aliens are scared of cats? Sam asked as he watched Midnight chase a toy mouse across the floor. Terrified, Alan confirmed. Their species never evolved alongside predators like we did. To them, cats are the stuff of nightmares. Laughed. Wait until they find out about tigers and lions. We're keeping that information restricted for now, Alan said. No need to give them more reasons to think we're dangerous. As the Earth delegation prepared to depart, Dr. Kelly Washington made one final meeting with Trivna. She had been thinking about what the alien told her and had a theory. I've been studying Federation evolutionary biology, Kelly said. Most of your species developed intelligence as a survival mechanism against predators, correct? Trivna nodded. Yes, being smarter helped our ancestors hide, cooperate, and survive. But humans developed intelligence differently, Kelly continued. We became smarter as we became better hunters. Then we used that intelligence to form bonds with other predator species like wolves, which eventually became dogs. This is why many find your species disturbing, Trivna admitted. But don't you see? Kelly said excitedly. This means humans bring a completely different perspective to the Federation. We understand predator psychology in ways your species can't. That could be valuable. Trivna considered this. Perhaps, but the Council sees only the danger. Then help me change their minds, Kelly urged. Come with us to Earth. Meet some cats in person. See how they interact with humans. I'm not sure I could do that, Trivna said, skin paling again at the thought. Just consider it, Kelly said. Sometimes understanding only comes through direct experience. Unaware of these conversations, Federation Special Forces were already implementing Glonpar's plan. 3 small stealth ships departed for human colony worlds with orders to capture cat specimens and gather data on their relationship with humans. The first ship headed to New Eden, a small farming colony with about 5,000 human settlers. Their mission was to capture 10 cats without being detected, then return for analysis. Captain Fred Simmons was the security chief of New Eden. He was making his nightly rounds when he noticed strange lights in the sky. At first he thought it was just another supply ship, but this one moved differently and made no contact with colony control. Control, this is Simmons. Are we expecting any ships tonight? Negative, Chief. The next supply run is scheduled for next week. Fred frowned and adjusted his cap. I'm seeing lights near the north section. Going to check it out. He drove his patrol vehicle toward the Henderson farm where the lights seemed to be hovering. As he approached, he saw something that made his blood run cold. 3 tall, thin figures in strange suits were approaching the farmhouse. They moved with odd, jerky motions, constantly looking around as if terrified. Most disturbing of all, one was carrying what looked like a cage. Fred reached for his radio. Control, we have unknown intruders at the Henderson place. Looks like they're trying to break in. Send backup now. As he watched, the aliens approached the cat door on the side of the farmhouse. One reached toward it with a device Fred didn't recognize. Fred didn't know what they wanted, but he wasn't going to let unknown aliens break into a family home. He turned on his vehicle's lights and siren and accelerated toward them. The aliens froze, then scattered in panic at the approaching vehicle and noise. One dropped the cage and pulled out what looked like a weapon. The first interspecies incident was about to begin, all because of cats. The night sky over New Eden lit up as more patrol vehicles arrived at the Henderson farm. Captain Fred Simmons stood his ground, weapon drawn but pointed down, as he faced the 3 alien intruders. The aliens chittered nervously to each other, in their own language. Colony Control, this is Simmons. We have 3 non-human entities attempting to break into the Henderson residence. They appear to be armed. Please advise. Chief, this is Governor Phillips. Keep them contained, but do not fire unless threatened. We're contacting Earth for instructions. Fred nodded to his deputies to form a perimeter. The tallest alien finally stepped forward, activating a translation device. We are authorized representatives of the Galactic Federation Security Council, the alien said, voice shaking slightly. We are conducting a sanctioned specimen collection. Not on my colony, you're not, Fred replied firmly. You entered our space without permission and attempted to break into a private home. That's trespassing where I come from. Inside the farmhouse, John Henderson woke to the commotion. He looked out his window and saw the standoff in his front yard. His wife, Lisa, joined him, eyes wide with worry. "What's happening?" she whispered. "Not sure," John replied. "Looks like those aliens the news has been talking about." Their cat, Mr. Whiskers, jumped onto the windowsill between them, tail swishing as he watched the scene with curious yellow eyes. Outside, the alien spokesman became more agitated. "Your pets are a matter of galactic security. We require samples for study." Fred's deputy, Kate Winters, leaned closer to him. "They're here for cats? Are you kidding me?" The standoff continued for 20 minutes until the aliens, realizing they were outnumbered, retreated to their ship. As they departed, the alien spokesman made a final statement. "This matter is not concluded. The Federation will take necessary measures to address the predator threat." News of the incident spread quickly. Within hours, reports came in from 2 other colonies with similar experiences. On Pioneer's Hope, aliens had actually managed to capture 3 cats before being discovered. On New Horizon, colonists had formed a militia and driven the aliens away. Back on Earth, the news threw diplomatic relations into chaos. Captain Susan Miller was called to an emergency meeting with Federation Ambassador Zixtal. These actions were not authorized by the Federation Council, Zixtal insisted, looking genuinely distressed. "A faction within our security forces acted independently. They tried to steal pets from our homes," Susan said angrily. "How would your people feel if humans snuck onto your worlds and took your children's companions?" "You don't understand," Zixtal replied. "Many in the Federation believe these creatures represent an existential threat. The fear is not rational, but it is deeply rooted in our evolutionary psychology." Meanwhile, on the Earth Defense Force, flagship Defender, Captain Gregory Young received new orders. His ship was being dispatched to New Eden to protect the colony and retrieve the cat stolen from Pioneer's Hope. Greg had never expected his military career would involve rescuing cats, but here he was. As he reviewed the mission briefing, his second-in-command, Lieutenant Linda Baker, entered his office. "Sir, the crew is ready, but many are confused about our mission parameters," she said. "We're really going to war over cats?" Greg sighed. "We're not going to war, Lieutenant. We're showing the Federation that humans protect their own, whether they walk on 2 legs or 4. This is about sovereignty and respect." The Defender reached New Eden 3 days later. They established a defense perimeter around the colony and sent messages to the Federation ships still in the area, demanding the return of the captured cats and a formal apology. The response was unexpected. Rather than a diplomatic message, the Federation Council issued a galaxy-wide declaration designating Earth and all human colonies as a Class X Predator Reserve. All Federation ships were ordered to avoid human space, and a quarantine zone was established around the solar system. Dr. Kelly Washington received this news with dismay. She immediately sought out Trivna, who had agreed to visit Earth despite her fears. "Your council has just isolated us from the entire galaxy," Kelly said. "All because we love cats." Trivna looked uncomfortable. "It's more complicated than that. The incidents on your colonies confirmed many fears. The images of humans fighting to protect predator animals shocked many council members." "Of course we protected them," Kelly said. "They're part of our families." Trivna's large eyes blinked rapidly. "That's what terrifies my people the most. In our evolutionary history, any species that aligned with predators was doomed. The concept that predators could be gentle companions is completely foreign." Kelly paced the room, thinking. "There has to be a way to fix this. Your people need to understand our relationship with cats isn't about domination or control. It's about mutual benefit and affection." On Pioneer's Hope, the situation grew more tense. The Federation ship holding the captured cats refused to return them, claiming they were being studied for security purposes. Captain Young ordered his fighters to take up positions around the Federation vessel. "This is Captain Gregory Young of the Earth Defense Force. Return the Earth animals you've taken immediately, or we will board your vessel and retrieve them ourselves." The Federation captain, a veteran named Krexval, was stunned by the human response. In all his years of service, he had never seen a species risk conflict to recover non-sentient creatures. It confirmed his worst fears about human psychology. These predators must have an unprecedented hold on human minds, he told his science officer. Look at how far they're willing to go to get them back. The science officer looked uncertain. Sir, our preliminary tests show no mind control capabilities in these creatures. They appear to be simple predator animals with no special abilities beyond hunting skills. Then why would humans risk war for them? Krexval asked, genuinely puzzled. Before his officer could respond, sensors detected movement. Small craft had launched from the Defender and were approaching their ship. Sir, the humans have deployed boarding parties, his tactical officer reported, voice rising in pitch. They're actually coming for the predators. Krexval faced a decision. Federation protocol dictated defending their ship against boarders, but that would mean firing on humans, potentially starting an interspecies war over what appeared to be ordinary animals. On the lead boarding shuttle, Captain Young checked his gear one last time. He never imagined his first combat mission against an alien species would be a rescue operation for 3 cats named Fluffy, Socks, and Tiger. But he understood what was at stake. Remember, he told his team, we're not just retrieving pets. We're showing the Federation that humans protect what's ours and we won't let anyone take what we care about, no matter how small. As the shuttles approached the Federation ship, humans across the settled worlds watched and waited. The fate of Earth's relationship with the galaxy might well depend on 3 ordinary house cats and the lengths humans would go to protect them. Captain Gregory Young's boarding shuttles were moments away from docking with the Federation vessel when all communication systems suddenly lit up with emergency signals. His tactical officer looked up from her screen with wide eyes. Sir, we're receiving distress calls from multiple Federation worlds. They're under attack. Greg checked the incoming data and frowned. From who? Something called the Hive Collective. According to this, they're an enemy the Federation has been fighting for decades. Greg's second-in-command, Lieutenant Linda Baker, studied the tactical display. The nearest attack is at Gentle Waters, a Federation colony just 3 light-years. From here, they're asking any ships in the area for help. Greg faced a difficult choice. His mission was to retrieve the stolen cats, but ignoring a distress call went against everything he believed in as a soldier. He opened a channel to the Federation ship. Federation vessel, this is Captain Young. We're receiving distress calls from your people. What's your status? The screen flickered to show Captain Krexval, looking shaken. We've been ordered to return to Federation space immediately. The Hive has launched a major offensive against our border worlds. What about our cats? Greg demanded. Krexval seemed confused by the question. Is that still your concern when worlds are burning? Those animals are important to the families they were taken from, Greg said firmly. Return them and we'll discuss how Earth can help with your hive problem. The Federation captain stared at Greg for a long moment, then nodded. Very well. The specimens will be transferred to your ship, but I doubt your world can offer meaningful assistance against the hive. They are unlike anything you have encountered. 2 hours later, the cats were safely aboard the Defender, and Greg was in a secure communication with Earth's leadership. The Federation had formally requested human assistance, despite the quarantine they had just imposed. The Hive Collective appears to be a serious threat, Admiral Warren said over the secure channel. Intelligence suggests there's some kind of insectoid species that operates with a hive mind. They've been in conflict with the Federation for generations, and they want our help now? Greg asked. After declaring us a danger to the galaxy? Desperate times, the Admiral replied. The Federation defenses are failing on multiple fronts. We're sending a battle group to your location. Your mission is to assist the Federation colony at Gentle Waters while we evaluate the situation. As the Defender approached Gentle Waters, they got their first look at the hive ships. They were organic-looking vessels that moved in perfect coordination, surrounding the small Federation defensive fleet. They're not using shields like we do, Linda observed. Their ships seem to have some kind of exoskeleton instead. Greg studied the battle patterns. They move like insects swarming. Individual ships sacrificed themselves to protect the larger vessels. Dr. Kelly Washington joined them on the bridge, bringing Trivna with her. The Federation scientist had valuable information about their new enemy. The Hive are the only major predator species the Federation has encountered before humans, Trivna explained. But unlike you, they share a collective consciousness. They consume resources on a planetary scale and move on. They see other life forms as either food or competition. How do you fight them? Greg asked. With great difficulty, Trivna admitted. They adapt quickly and don't fear death. Individual drones are expendable to them. Greg thought for a moment. We need a new approach. Lieutenant Baker, bring Lisa Chen from Xenobiology up here, and tell the Pioneers Hope colonists we need their help with their cats. Their cats? Linda asked, confused. Sir, with all due respect, how will house pets help fight an alien invasion? Trust me, Greg said with a small smile. Sometimes, you need a predator to catch a predator. 24 hours later, Greg presented his plan to the Federation defenders. He had learned that the Hive used scouts that infiltrated ahead of their main forces, gathering intelligence and sabotaging defenses. These scouts were nearly impossible to detect with standard technology. Our plan is simple, Greg explained, to the skeptical Federation commanders. We've analyzed the Hive's communication patterns and biological signatures. They use pheromones similar to Earth insects, but with unique compounds. Lisa Chen, the xenobiologist, took over. We've synthesized these compounds and created a detection system, but we needed something that could track the scouts through the colony's air circulation system. She motioned to the side, where 3 Federation officers entered, each carefully carrying a special container. Inside each was one of the cats rescued from the Federation ship. Each cat now wore a small high-tech collar. Meet our secret weapon, Greg said. Earth's natural hunters, with some technological enhancements. The Federation commanders were horrified. You want to release predators on our colony? One asked in disbelief. These cats have been specially trained, Lisa explained. Their sense of smell is extraordinary, and they can detect Hive scouts where your technology can't. The collars track their movements and alert us when they find something. Despite strong objections, the desperate situation led the Federation to accept the plan. The cats were released into the colony's maintenance tunnels with handlers following at a distance. Within hours, Fluffy, the orange tabby, began behaving strangely near a ventilation shaft. His handler, Sam Lewis from Pioneers Hope, checked the collar readings. We've got something. Section 12, Level 3. Security teams converged on the location and found a Hive infiltrator preparing to sabotage the colony's life support systems. Similar successes followed as Sox and Tiger tracked down other hidden scouts. News of the predator detection units spread through the Federation fleet. When the Hive launched their main attack, the defenders were ready. The battle was fierce, but with the infiltrators eliminated, the colony's defenses held. As the Hive ships retreated, Federation commanders looked at the humans and their cats with new appreciation. Admiral Zontier, the Federation fleet commander, requested a meeting with Captain Young. I must admit, the Admiral said, I did not believe small predators could be so useful. Perhaps we have misjudged your relationship with these creatures. Cats have lived alongside humans for thousands of years, Greg explained. They started as working animals, keeping our food stores free of pests. Over time, they became companions. Dr. Kelly Washington joined the conversation. What you fear about predators, their hunting instincts, their independence, their ability to stalk and pounce, these are exactly the qualities that made them valuable to us today. In the following weeks, as Earth ships helped defend other Federation colonies, attitudes began to shift. Federation scientists cautiously studied the cats that had helped save Gentle Waters. Some brave Federation citizens even requested to interact with them under controlled conditions. 6 months after the Hive attacks, the Federation Council formally lifted the quarantine around Earth. Humans were reclassified from a predator reserve to a new category, symbiotic predator-companion civilization. Ambassador Zixtal visited Earth for the signing ceremony. As cameras recorded the historic moment, Lieutenant Alan Cooper brought forward a special guest, a calm, elderly cat named Luna, one of his 3 pets from home. The ambassador hesitated, then slowly extended a trembling hand. Luna sniffed it curiously, then bumped her head against his fingers. The Federation diplomat froze, then carefully stroked the cat's soft fur. "Perhaps," Sixtall said as Luna began to purr, "there is much our civilizations can learn from each other after all." As news of the ceremony spread across the galaxy, other species watched in amazement. The image of a Federation diplomat petting an Earth predator became an iconic symbol of a new understanding between different evolutionary paths. And throughout the stars, the whispered legend grew. Beware the humans, the strange beings who befriended the most perfect hunters in the galaxy, Earth's murder mittens,